Hi, this video right here is pertaining to thefts and so forth like that. It's going to be brief. Some time ago, I was in the process of, talking to dealerships, people that sell Benzes and BMWs, Yukons, and, you know, um, even talked to somebody that was selling Maybachs and so forth like that. And they was asking what specific, things I was looking for and, numbers to certain things and stuff like that. And anybody that ever been to a car dealership, the extra miles they will go to get you in the dealership, especially when they know who you are and they know who I am. But this is what's going on. One at that particular time, this was before 2009. Yeah, before 2008, actually. I was speaking to a dealers, couple of dealers. Like I said, they sell expensive vehicles. Okay, top of the line vehicles. I'm talking about you can get all the amenities and everything that you're looking for in a vehicle. And they give you your little options and whatever they have to do to get that sale and also make sure that you get a quality vehicle that you want that's supposed to be their goal. But the thing is this is that so one particular time I had went out there, and what had ended up happening was I got followed. And I didn't understand how I was getting followed. And somebody kept pulling up on me on the highway, blowing and blowing and blowing. So I was on, first I had started off on the highway heading towards Missouri because at that time I lived in East St. Louis, Illinois on 12th Street. And so I'm heading towards North 12th Street on there, but it's either or. So the thing is this is that so I was leaving my apartment, head on the highway. Somebody kept blowing at me and trying to flag me down. And I'm like, who was that? And I'm like, I'm not finna, no, I'm not finna stop or roll my window. So I looked, and it looked like Boosie, the rapper known as Boosie, Torrance Hatch. Now I was already mad at him because, but this is a different situation. I did not see. I made the chips that's called Rap Snacks, okay, and he did some stuff he had no business doing. Come to find out, when I was at 1271 Kansas, I had unauthorized listening up in the apartment due to the fact when Nicki Minaj had came over there one time, a few times she spent the night, and she had put up a smoke detector up there. Because at that time it was just like a regular smoke detector, and she put it up there. Come to find out, because I was wondering how did Boosie and Tiny and all these other people and Tip, all these people knew what I was doing when I wasn't even dealing with them, let alone when having no conversations. The only reason why Nicki Minaj came over there because she know her one of her twin boys used to be over there at the same time. I was looking into her too about another situation because I have 4 children that got kidnapped. So, but that's okay. That's how that started, and and then how we knew it was them because it led to all these people start coming around to them, start coming around and following me and all that. So when that happened, I ended it, and and it had started Kevin Durant coming back around, somebody I wasn't dealing with at all, and it was just one thing after another. But back to this, when I lived at 104 12th Street, or they might call it North 12th, um, they in turn had followed me out there to the dealership. Now this one messed me up. I had, like I told you, I had at that time I had new. I realized some stuff he did to me in the past he shouldn't have did. Him and a rapper known as Nelly. So the thing is this is that to make a long story short, so I get out there to the dealership. First he kept flagging me down. And then I look, he was like, hey, you mama come to my house because I'm his boss and all this stuff. He talking about how he was gonna go, he wanted to sign a contract with me and this, that, and the other and get on my label. So at that time, everybody knew about what labels are on our own major recording labels, okay? And so if I said, well, call me and this, that, and the other, I got something I got to do. Oh man, I said, call me. And I seen the dude in the car with him like laying down. I said, it's the dude that broke in my apartment. I said, it's the dude that helped the other people lure my daughter out the apartment, and I caught him trying to, have sex with my baby girl. At that time, Jashira was 7 years old. Okay? Well, ain't nothing wrong about her. I had no fast kids trying to have no sex, and my children acted like children, my daughter, my Kayla, and Jashira. You know? So, Boosie, I don't know if he really hit him hard on his chest or whatever, and the other dude hit him. And next thing I know, so I'm looking for the lot or whatever. They pull up on me again. Now about 20 minutes had them passed into I'm almost to my location, and I had I think I had and I was so mad about the situation that had just occurred on the highway, and I seen somebody that should have been incarcerated, and Boosie told me that was his brother. And he said the other dude in the back seat was his brother too. And the other dude, so all of them arguing about all that type of stuff. And he tried, now he turned his 12. They arguing about who some kin or how they really some kin. And I pulled on off. But like I said, a little time, so I had to turn around because I think I had got off at the wrong. See them again. I'm like, what are these people doing? So I finally made it to where my location where I'm supposed to be at. Just so happened I had seen Oliver Walker again. He popped up there. Now early that morning I had seen Oliver Walker. When I had went to drop my kids off at school, and so when I made it out there, Oliver and his cousin them was out there on a lot too. But I had seen Oliver walking towards the Metrolink towards Filthy, Missouri. And next thing I know, him and his cousin pop up. His cousin say something to Boosie them or whatever. Oliver was sitting there just this, that, and the other. And I was upset. And the man was like, "Oh, you all right?" I said, "This doesn't make any sense. And how would they even know? Because wasn't nobody really around, And Oliver told the man he felt that uh, he had a feeling about something. I said, I have a feeling about all this too, because I'm trying to figure out how in the world all this stuff going on. People popping up on me, following me around, stealing stuff and this, that, and the other." So Boosie told a lie and was telling them talking about this, that, and the other. See, when people be stealing my paperwork and they broke into my apartment, I had a whole bunch of stuff on papers, and a lot of stuff really don't go together. It really don't. So Boosie got to telling the man, "Oh, y'all phone number here, such and such, such and such." And the man called me and said this and this, that, and the other. The man looked. I looked. I know what the number was. The man showed Oliver his business card. Oliver said, Oliver didn't say nothing. Oliver said, "Can he keep the business card? Just in case in the future he might be able to get some." So they kind of laughed and chuckled a little bit. He told Boosie, "Well, since you sit down, well, go ahead." He said, "Do you have the money or credit?" And Boosie was like, "Oh no." He's talking about how he know me and he gonna sign a deal, a contract with me and this, that, and the other. So the man was like, "You know who she is?" And Boosie confirmed that he did know who. He said, "Oh man, she got all these labels, she got this, and you know who she is? She famous." And that's what Boosie was. And then he was like, "Well, how did you know to even?" He was like, "Oh." He told me, so Boosie said Boosie lied, saying that they called and the man gave them the phone number and told them to come on out to um, look at some vehicles or whatever. And it was a total lie because that phone number that Boosie had didn't even belong to them. And the man looked at the business card, so he told me, and he was like, "Look." So Boosie grabbed the business card and so forth. So next thing I know, Boosie like, "Oh, see, he's lying and talking about how somebody called him from that other number." So the man called the person from that number and told them, "Could you have someone to come to the location to, the guy said somebody called him." So make a long story short, it was the number to a cab company. The cab company man pulled up. Oh, and it was all hectic again because before before that had happened, Boosie brother, the one was on the passenger side with him, had an altercation with a cab driver. See, a cab driver had pulled up. I was going to catch the cab one day, And he ran, the guy, Boosie brother, and another guy ran out of this girl named Jamie White apartment um, that lived next door to me. Now, people had been wondering why I was out living in the projects in East St. Louis, Illinois, because, well, I had to give the federal government and state government a chance to go ahead and wrap everything up, get all these taxes together, get all this other stuff that I own together, and this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, I'm still looking for my kids and all this stuff, and I was just going through a lot. I was at a set still, you know. And then I had just went through, you know, other situations, and all this stuff had been going on back to back. But the point to this is that they had already showed cause and proved how they broke into my apartment. And then when the guy goes to jail in St. Clair County Jail, at the St. Clair County Jail in Belleville, Illinois, which is down the street from, it's not like walk. I mean, you don't want to walk there for unless you can. Not too far from St. Clair County Courthouse in Belleville, Illinois. So they had him up in there. He told me he forgot why he was in jail, and they called him around, and somebody had bailed him out, and they kept lying, talking about like he was mentally retarded and all that, and which was a lie, because also the state troopers caught him tampering with my home phone lines, when I lived in East St. Louis, Illinois. They grabbed him, and they called him, and this guy they called Vince Jackson was saying the same thing. Oh, I told him he's mentally retarded, but he had told the state troopers the truth, he wasn't, and he just was gonna go to jail. And Vince was like, man, but at the same time he was full of crap because he was trying to go along with what Vincent was saying. So those individuals had got put out. The people they were dealing with, they lived at 106, 102, and 100 on 12th Street. More fraud, a lot of more fraud, because it was like Trooper Renner. He was one of the state troopers, came out, and he was riding along with one of the captains of patrol and all that and so forth. And at that time, I also had got hired as an Illinois state trooper. Yes, I did. I got hired as an Illinois state trooper, to only to succumb to a lot of when I got it just like it was a domino effect had started happening, you know. So, but make a long story short, that's what happened. And he had the guy that I'm talking about, Boosie brother. When I was on my way out to he jumped in the cab. It was a cab passing by, and it was the man that. But anyway, but when the police did come, like I said, they had the guy in jail or whatever, and I don't know what happened after that, because the man was very upset. And what I ended up doing was, because he jumped in the man's cab and had a knife on him or something, and I ran out there and helped him or whatever and snatched him up out of there. When I snatched him out the cab from harming the cab driver, because he had hit the cab driver, him and another dude, the other dude ran. I snatched him out the cab, and the cab driver was kind of mad. He said he could, you all right, aren't you? So, but anyway, when I snatched him out in town of Tussle, and the cab driver had beat him up, the police was pulling up by this time, because some people had passed by and had called the police. And then being in the project, somebody might call too, because it was right there on 12th Street when you're coming down Highway 15. And if you're coming from St. Louis way, if you're coming from westbound heading eastbound, you make that right, you're coming down like a little slight hill. And that's where the altercation happened. And so anybody could have passed by and called the police or whatever the case may be, but the police did show up. The guy of the ethnicity, he's from Nigeria, I think. He was very upset, and he was saying he's going to handle that on his own, and he had beat him up real bad, and this, that, and the other. And he was just very upset. He was like he's going to handle it his way because he's tired of all of that. He said, and he was very upset and irate, and that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. But the guy did go to jail, and they were saying, and he got in jail, like I said, kept saying he didn't know why he was in jail, and this, that, and the other. But at the same time being, he was the suspect. The police grabbed him and caught the act. Because when I yanked him out, the police seen him uh when he dropped the knife, and when everybody got the other dude came up, grabbed the knife. The police called the other dude, and the other dude bought the knife back what he had picked up. But the dude didn't like the dude ran behind the building or something. As soon as he made it to the corner, police was like, I think he pulled out the gun or whatever, and he had told him, hold pre turn back around. And it was something of that such. I ain't gonna. It's up in there, okay, but that's what happened. And I don't appreciate it. They don't follow me around, and I'm on a bus line right now, and they even follow me on the bus. I'm talking about I'm traveling to other counties. Like I live in a county called St. Clair County. I live in Cahokia, Illinois. And they don't follow me all the way up to Madison County. These people have no business up. No, I'm not saying they can go to Madison County, but they're not doing nothing. And they're friends with those individuals whom I don't deal with. It's the same people. It's the same people. Just doing all type of crimes. It's the same people. You know, it's the same people. That's all I'm saying. It's the same people. You know, and and even with him being on my property, off and on at apartment 1F, he only supposed to be here. I actually had rented to this girl we call Shay Watson, Herman Watson Sr.'s daughter, and I rented to her and her boyfriend. That's who's supposed to have been living there. And that same guy went up in there with her brother on request of her mother, but all the time the daddy was standing there too. They said, and it really and say he laughed it off and said, "Oh, they going." He was saying it wasn't gonna happen. Wasn't nobody gonna do no stuff like that, and it ended up being a story on the news saying like she supposed to had broke her daughter arm and she supposed to went to jail and all that, but that's not what happened. The furniture up in there had belonged to Shay Watson.